Hi, everyone. This is Alan Cowgil, and I am delighted that you're on this training webinar. I tell you what, I've got a tremendous treat for you. You're going to love this. And what I want to tell you right up front is make sure you got a pad and a pen because there is going to be a lot of items that you're going to want to write down because who I've got just delivers a phenomenal amount of training. Also, turn off your cell phone and close the door and turn off the TV and focus on this because you're going to be amazed at what I've got for you because there's billions of dollars in ways of government grants and subsidies available right now that we as investors and entrepreneurs can use to fund many of our deals. This free government money has been around for decades, but if you don't know where to look and where to find it, then you don't have the key that unlocks the grant money vault. You know, there's someone who's figured it out and on where to get the money, and his name is Chris Johnson. Chris has been teaching Americans how to find and access this free money for many, many years, and to date, Chris has coached thousands of students to access free government money to staggering success. And listen to this. Chris's students are so successful on what he teaches that he gets about one success story per day from his students into his office, and sometimes for thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Chris has become the most sought-after expert on this subject in the country. He's in high demand from investor groups and organizations all across the country because of his knowledge. He has regularly shared the stage with Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Rudy Giuliani, and Susie Orman, and many others, including myself. In fact, one of the reasons I've got Chris on this training is because I've had him at my live events, and my students just love him. And also there's folks there that have used his system and gotten grant monies, and they stand up and give testimonials on what they've done and how easy it is if you just follow the way Chris does it. So if you want some free money, that's exactly what he's going to be giving you. And just think about getting millions of dollars, which is what his students do. And I'm delighted, and I know this is very good for my students, and I'm glad you took the time because I know you're a busy guy flying around the country and doing what you do and training different folks on this. And I'd like to know if you're ready to get started.
Well, thanks, Alan. What an awesome introduction. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you having me on here and letting me show your clients how to access all this funding. Hello, everyone. So let's get started. Make sure you've got some note paper and a pen or two to take some really good notes with. As I go through, I'll be sharing with you lots of different websites and sources of funding that you can tap into and take advantage of to access this funding. There's billions upon billions, in fact, hundreds of billions of dollars out there from the government. And again, even though I'm America's grant funding expert, I'm also the international grant funding expert, and I show people all around the world how to access this funding. So even though almost everyone on the webcast right now is from the USA, there might be one or two people who are logging in from Canada or England. Just know that this funding is available where you live. It's international. There's money in most developed countries. I'll be talking and focusing in on the hundreds of billions of dollars available right now from the U.S. government. But again, if you are not from the U.S., don't be dismayed. This works where you live. Keep on listening. You'll find that this is really good information for you too. So by way of introduction, people often wonder, Chris, how is it, why are you such a grant expert? Where did you get this great knowledge from? Well, my background is simply no different than a lot of people. I wanted to get ahead financially, and I did the hard school of learning. I learned the hard way, in other words. I tried getting rich working at a job, and guess what? It didn't work. After 15 years of hard labor, I call it, I was flat dead broke. Not from any bad financial decisions like bad investments or filing bankruptcy. I was always full-time employed. I just discovered it's hard to get ahead financially working at a job for somebody else. So eventually, I realized I had to do something different than just grind it out 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. So I went into a seminar, a real estate seminar, and I signed up for this class that offered how to get rich in real estate with no cash, no credit, and no experience. Well, I qualified for all those things, and so I actually went to the seminar, paid my few $1,000s in attendance fees, learned the skills on how to do this. Now, a lot of people I notice after they come through a seminar don't follow through on the information. It's important to follow through on the information, let me tell you. I learned the information in the class, but I also followed up with it afterward and put it into practice. And eventually I figured out a couple deals. I made myself some pretty good income from those 2 deals, enough to get me excited about real estate, and I've been doing real estate ever since. I'm a investor, a multimillionaire. I own single-family, multifamily duplexes, very successful as a real estate investor. That's all wonderful news for me. What do you care? You don't about that. But what you do care about is what I learned as an investor early on. And it's this. I learned there are literally thousands upon thousands of grant programs available across the country that we as investors and entrepreneurs can tap into to help us to fund our deals and our business ventures, etc. And everyone's heard about government grants. I had heard about them too, but I didn't know anything about them at the time. And so I went to the place that everyone goes to find out more information. You got it, Google. I began to Google free money. And guess what? There's good information out there. There's bad information out there. And when you Google free money, it's mostly all misinformation. And so to get the real answer, the real deal, I began to contact and phone the government agency offices directly, talk to the program managers, how to find out about eligibility, whether I was eligible or not, where to get the application forms, how to fill them out, how to submit them. All those important questions I got answered by talking to the government officials directly. And as I began to apply and be successful at this, I began to tell others I was doing this, and they began to ask me to help them get government grants. And they even offered to pay me, which I didn't say no to that. But word got around. I had a few clients, and eventually I was asked to speak at different conferences and investor clubs and real estate groups and things like that. And word kept getting around. A few months goes by, and eventually I got a phone call one day, and you wouldn't believe who called me. I won't make you guess, I'll tell you. Have you heard of Donald Trump? Well, it wasn't him. It was actually his people. They called me and they said, we want you to come and speak at a massive conference with Donald Trump at the Jacob Javits Center in downtown Manhattan. What an honor. I thought, wow, I was convinced they had the wrong guy. So sure enough, I flew out there, and lo and behold, I met the Donald. There we are. This is right before my very first speech with Donald. He spoke right after me. I spoke right before him. I was kind of like Donald's warm-up act, I guess, in a way. But right before me was Susie Orman. In fact, while this photo was being taken, Susie Orman was up speaking on the stage. So Susie, I guess, was my warm-up act. I was sandwiched in between Donald and Susie, so I knew for sure they had the wrong guy. But I went along there. But what really surprised me was they actually called me back right after this conference was done. They said the phones were ringing off the hook, that people had such great results in applying the techniques I taught during that conference, many of which I'm going to teach you right now in this webcast, on how to apply for and receive free money, that there is such a demand to see me again. They actually booked me for 3.5 years. I actually spoke with Donald Trump 23 times over a 3.5-year period. What an honor. It's pretty exciting, and that's pretty fun. So I've had a chance to get quite well exposed by this. It gave me some good name recognition. Here I am with Donald Trump's right-hand man, George Ross. We spoke a few times together. This photo here was taken down in Seattle near the airport there at a conference we spoke at together. Pretty soon other countries started to call. And I got a call from England to go over there and speak at a big business conference. And if you don't recognize this guy, this is Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Records, Virgin everything. Sir Richard Branson, this is quite an honor to meet him and speak at this big business conference there. That was pretty exciting. And I've since gone around the world. I've spoken in many different countries, lectured, been on television, radio, news, all around the world. Pretty exciting stuff there for sure. But for the most part, most of my clients are right back in the USA. I've got my greatest amount of success stories right back in the USA. I think it's because the US has the most government grants. So this is all wonderful news about me. I'm just giving you some background information on me, but what's important for you is this. I've been helping average, everyday folks, homeowners, entrepreneurs, investors, people like you listening right now to access funding to start a business, to renovate and fix up a home, to send your kids to college or university. My average client receives on the very first application over $19,000 in free money. This is amazing. This is awesome. This is excellent. And that's just in the very first application. Collectively, my clients have received many millions of dollars in free money, government grants, etc., other types of funding. And I've helped thousands upon thousands of people do this over the last decade. And it's fun to be able to do this because we're helping people launch businesses, go to college where they otherwise couldn't afford to go, get into real estate in a big way, get into home ownership. It's really an honor. So the question I've got for you is this. If you are in business or want to be in business, would $100,000, would that help you to get ahead in your business? I think you'd agree with me the answer to that is yes. And you might say, well, Chris, hang on a second. $100,000? Does the government really give away that kind of money? The answer is they do. They most certainly do. And you might say, well, why does the government do that? Because aren't they all broke? How can they afford that? Well, the government, it's not a donation, it's not a gift, it's not charity. What it is, it's an investment. The government creates what are called business incentives to incentivize us as business owners to start and grow and expand our business, and turn hire more people. Small businesses are the driver of the economy. They create the most jobs. And so this is an investment on the part of the government. Billions of dollars are set aside for business investment. And ultimately, well over 1 million people across the USA alone take advantage of these programs to grow and expand and launch a business. And my clients have been on the receiving end of these programs for many years now. $100,000 is absolutely realistic. I'll show you clients of mine who received that much money or more, and that's pretty interesting. So if you're serious, you pay attention, you take good notes on this webcast, this can be you. Also, there's other areas like education. Now, one of the goals I have is to put 1,000 kids through college or university for free. I'm not talking student loan debts. I'm not talking paying part of it on your own. I'm talking completely for free. So if you have a loved one, a niece, nephew, grandchild, a child who'd like to go to college, university, and you're wondering how to pay for it, this is where I come in. We're helping people go through med school, law school, engineering, you name it, all kinds of different avenues to get their college or university degree. Pretty exciting stuff there. I'll talk about that on this webcast, as well as business funding, as well as how to get funding for real estate, whether it's home ownership, first-time home buyers, or maybe it is for doing some renovations on your own home, or maybe you're an investor, want to acquire more properties. This is the kind of thing that I teach, I specialize in, and help people do. So if you're watching this webcast specifically as a real estate investor, you're going to love what it'll teach you about real estate, and you're going to benefit tremendously in the business funding, because as a real estate investor, your business is real estate investing. So the business funding and real estate funding can benefit you. And maybe you know someone who's looking for an education as well. So I help people in all these areas and more.
Hey, Chris, that's awesome. How many programs are out there?
Let me go through here and share with you the sheer volume number of programs that are out there. Now, currently, at the federal level, there's over 7,000 programs and counting. I think you'd agree that's a lot of funding that's out there. There's also money at the state level. Now, all states have programs, over 1,800 there. There are over 6,000 county level programs and over 80,000 city and municipal level programs. So the bulk of them are at the local level, as you can see. Now, what's interesting here is there's funding passed out from all levels of government. So don't exclude any one level. Apply to all levels is my important lesson there. But also, it's not just government, it's also private sector. Look at the private sector. Private foundational grants, over 1.5 million of those. And these are for all kinds of things, a lot of educational funding and business and more. Also cost of living things in there as well for you. There's also money here in the way of scholarship programs directly from private enterprise, business. Think of Nike, Coca-Cola, Apple, IBM, you name it. There's thousands of companies out there which offer scholarship programs. 2.7 million scholarship programs. Here's the question for you. Can you qualify for every program? The answer is no. Can you qualify for most of them? The answer is no. So why should you care? The answer is because you qualify for many of these programs. How do I know that you qualify for many of these programs? I've been teaching this now for more than 10 years. I have yet to meet the person we cannot find a grant for. The bottom line is this. Everyone here in this webcast right now is looking for different types of funding for different situations. I can go through all these millions of programs one by one, and I'd probably bore you to tears on most of them. It might take me 5.5 years to go through them all, or 20 years to go through them all. I can't do that in this 1 hour webcast. What I'll do instead is show you how to zero in quickly to find that perfect program for you and walk you through the process to apply. And you'll find that there's a real streamlined approach I teach that works really, really well. And the bottom line is this. If you take good notes and you follow through in what I say, you'll be able to receive 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 100, $200,000 or more in the coming weeks or a couple of months from now if you follow through in this information and do what I say. This works for my clients. This works for everyone I teach it to. It'll work for you, but you have to follow through and send in the applications. If you don't apply, you won't get any funding. But if you apply like I show you, you will be successful and this funding will be yours. Take good notes, follow through. Don't just sit here on a feel-good webinar and you will be able to receive this funding. Let me show you some examples of what this looks like. Here's a young couple, Rob and Alicia, clients of mine. They're doing a renovation project. They say, thank you, Chris. We applied for a grant and received a $10,000 check. Thanks for introducing us to the world of grants. We really appreciate all your help and inspiration in showing us the great opportunity. Now, Rob and Alicia came to me for some help. I found a great grant program from the city that could pay for the renovations on this fixer-upper. Now, a couple things. Don't try to trick the system. They didn't. They did it properly. But if you get a check for $10,000 for a renovation, you cannot take that money and instead take your family on a worldwide vacation with it. You can't do that. The money will have to get repaid in that case, and you're probably going to be barred from getting grants from that agency in the future. There's a pre-inspection. There's an application process. You're going to submit documents like contractor quotes and bids, etc. There's a post follow-up inspection to verify the work got done. All these checks and balances are in place. It's all easy. It's straightforward, not difficult. But think about this. You do those little forms, etc. You send them in, and you get approved. You get the inspection done. Heck, $10,000, not too bad. This is the kind of thing that we do. Again, my clients average over $19,000 on their first application. That's not a guarantee or a promise. I'm just telling you, in 10 years of me tracking my clients' success rates, that's what they average out to be. So some are for less than that. For example, Rob and Alicia, they're about half my average. I get other clients who are in the $50,000, $80,000 range. So I'm just showing you this example as a very typical good example that you can probably qualify for just by applying if you're doing any kind of a renovation project. And now how this works is when you apply, you receive a letter from the funding agency. It tells you you've been approved. And when that comes to you, you'll also get a check. Now the check will have your name on it. It uses funds for the renovation, obviously. When that happens, this happens. Smiles break out. It's called having a free money moment. My goal is to help you have many of these going forward from today. So let's keep on going here and talk more about how these work. I want to give you some definitions. I'll talk about the three kinds of what I call free money. Now, free money is simply meaning not your money. In other words, government or private sector money that you use for your deals, that's not your money. Now, there's different kinds of what I call free money. Now, again, free money is not a government term. Don't show up at your county office one day and say, hey, I'm here for free money, because they might look at you funny. What you want to use is proper terminology. Let me get you started on that. So the first one is a grant. Grants are gift funds. They're given to you. They're non-repayable. That's why they're called gift funds. Now, a grant is the proper term you would use, and there are grants out there for all kinds of things. Real estate, business, education, and more. These are the kinds that most people want to apply for, certainly, but they're not the only kind of what I call free money. The other kind is what's called a loan. Now, we all know what loans are because you got to pay those darn things back. We all don't want to have them, but sometimes they're a necessary part of life. Would you agree with that? But people say to me, Chris, you know what, can you just teach me the grants only and just skip the loans? You know what, it's hard to do that because they're really intertwined. When it comes to the government, there's many programs out there. Some are grants, some are loans. Here's the way to answer this. Is your goal to do that real estate deal or launch that business, or is your goal to get a grant? The grant is a means to help you accomplish that bigger goal, which is that business or that real estate deal, right? So don't focus on the grant. Focus on whatever you're trying to accomplish. Launch that business. Get your kid the education. That's what you're trying to get done. Apply to whatever types of funding is available. Grants, loans, subsidies, everything that's available, apply for it. See what you get approved for. You don't have to take whatever you're approved for. If you get all the money you need in the grant, great. Don't take the loan. But if you need some of the loan money, just know that it's there. If there is no grant in this particular situation, and you do want to launch that business or get that real estate deal done, there's no grants, but there's at least a loan. It's better than nothing. I think you'd agree with that. So apply to everything is my point. And the whole idea here is you'll be successful in doing what you're trying to do. Now, loans are low interest, 0%, and often forgivable. So some loans actually don't get paid back, in other words. Most do, some don't. There's also subsidies. Now subsidies, think about this. These are like a partial grant. You pay part of the cost, the government pays the rest for you. Subsidies could be subsidized 50% or more in some cases. Think about Section 8 housing. That's actually a rental subsidy. Subsidies cover wage subsidies. So if you're hiring employees, you can have part of your employees' wages covered through a subsidy. You could have advertising and equipment costs covered, other areas as well. So in other words, it's a partially covered expense, subsidized, in other words, to help offset your costs.
You know, Chris, this is very interesting. Tell me, what are some of the challenges that folks face when they go out to get grant money?
Let's take a look and analyze the two big challenges that holds people back. Because let's face it, we've all heard of government grants, but most of us haven't got a clue how they work. Like this guy here. The first challenge is not knowing how to get started, not knowing how to find out which program is the right one to apply for, not knowing where to go to look, all these things of not knowing what to do. Don't worry about that. I'm going to teach you a particularly excellent technique that works extremely well that you can use as early as tonight if you want to begin to zero in and find that perfect program for you. That's in about 2 or 3 slides from now. I'm going to show you how to find that perfect grant. So hold on to that thought. So I said there's 2 challenges. What's the second challenge? Well, the second challenge happens to be that I've noticed that really smart, intelligent people often make silly mistakes. This is true. I've made them, you've made them, we've all made them, especially when filling out application forms before. Maybe we've left a blank where we shouldn't have, or we checked a box we shouldn't have, or we didn't check a box that we should have, or we sent the form in to the wrong address, or we sent it in on the wrong date, didn't ask for the right amount of money. Whatever it might be, if you fill in the paperwork improperly, incorrectly, you will get turned down. The government agencies are looking for 2 things. They want to verify that you are eligible, and they want to verify that the paperwork is done properly. They want to send you the money. They want to pay out the budget, the funds that they've been allocated for this fiscal year. If they don't pay it out, they don't get replenished next year. And if they don't get replenished next year, they might be out of a job. They want to pay out the money. And all they want to verify is eligibility and application paperwork done properly. Those 2 things done correct, you get the money. And if you learn this technique, how to find that right program and do the application form properly, you can do this over and over and over again. There's many times no limit. I've got clients who get, in some cases, grants every month. In some cases, more than 1 grant every month. Certainly a few grants a year. And so let me give you a good case study example of what I'm talking about with multiple grants. Here's Wendy, client of mine. Nice young lady, single mom, daughter in college, and she could not afford to send her daughter to college. That's the problem. She asked me for help. So I said, Wendy, I want to know 2 things. You'll see there's lots of 2 things here in the grant world. 2 challenges, 2 things that the funding agencies look for. Wendy, for an education for her daughter, I want to know 2 things to help her get the educational scholarships figured out, which was where she wants to go for school and what she wants to study. Wendy told me where her daughter wants to go to school and what she wants to study, so I did some research. I found about 4 dozen different perfect scholarships and grants for her, emailed that information over to Wendy, said start applying. A couple months later, I follow up. I find out that she's applied for, of the 4 dozen, about 22. Of the 22, 11 have been approved so far already. Wow. So she says, I'm a single mom with my daughter in college. There's no way I could afford to pay for education. What you showed us is a dream come true. We applied just like you showed us, and my daughter has already received so far a total of 11 grants, enough to pay for her entire college education. Books, tuition, room and board, living cost, free degree, top to bottom. Thank you so much, Chris, for making such a difference to my daughter and I, says Wendy. Now, Wendy, nice lady here, it cost her postage on 22 envelopes to get her daughter's education paid for. Think about that for a second. But what's more impressive is she called me 2 months later and says, Chris, how do I stop the money? I said, what do you mean? She says, we're up to about 15 grants now. Does my daughter have to keep going to college after she graduates? Just to use up all the money? I said, no, Wendy, you can turn it down if you want to. I think you'd agree that's a good problem to have. So again, the more you ask for, the more you apply for, the more you're going to get. The only sure thing is if you apply for 0 grants. That's the one guarantee. You'll get 0. So apply for something. Write this down. Write down this website, www.cfda.gov. This is the catalog of federal domestic assistance. This is for federal U.S. government grants. And this is not the only source, but it's a particularly good one. It's an online lookup tool that you can use. And there's 3 things you're looking for. You're looking for the name of the program, the purpose of that program, and the eligibility requirement. So let's go through each of these 3 things here. The name of the program will have a name that makes sense to you. So for example, if you're looking for energy upgrades for your house, and you've come across a program that says the Wetlands Preservation Research Grant, does that interest you? Probably not. But if you're doing any kind of wetlands preservation research, does that interest you? I think it does. So obviously, the name of the program will be named in such a way it'll generate interest for you if it's what you're looking for. Now, back to the energy upgrades, there actually are programs called the Residential Weatherization Assistance Program. That's an example of a program that can help you to offset your costs for doing weatherization improvements on your house. So that example would get you interested. Now, that's the name. The purpose is important. Now, the purpose is the reason why the government is giving away the money. Understand this. The government doesn't give you money just because you want it. The number one mistake my new clients make is they say, Chris, I want to get a grant. I say, great, what for? They say, I have no idea. I just need some money desperately. That's not how it works. The government gives away funds, money, because the government is trying to solve challenges. They've got big challenges to try to overcome. High unemployment, drive the economy, spur on the housing sector, make housing affordable, get the population educated, crime prevention, all kinds of different things that they're trying to do. So they create funding programs with the aim or purpose to solve those challenges. Now, if you are in alignment with one of those challenges, so for example, if they're trying to create jobs and you want to hire people, then you're helping to solve the challenge the government has. And so you might take advantage of a wage subsidy program or a hiring program or a training program that's designed to create more job training or hiring, whatever it might be, job creation. So if your needs are in alignment with a purpose, that's the whole idea right there. Eligibility. This is how you determine if you're eligible. Now, some programs are for minorities, some programs are for seniors, some are for people with disabilities, some are for people who are veterans, some are for homeowners, some are for entrepreneurs, some are for different types of demographics. And so ultimately, there's several demographics that you're part of. Maybe it's entrepreneur, maybe it's homeowner, maybe it's investor, and that qualifies you for certain programs. Small business owner, for example, another one. And so eligibility has all kinds of criteria. So let me give you an example of a real program. So here's a program that is designed to let people acquire housing. It's called the Rural Housing Service Program 504, helping people buy new or existing housing. The eligibility means it's for rural housing development. So this isn't even a person's demographic. This is actually a geographical situation. So this won't work in downtown LA or New York because it's not exactly rural in those areas. This program is geared toward, eligible for, a lowly populated rural setting. It's a real program you can actually use, but I'm showing it to you as an example. Make sense? Good. Let's look at another example. This one here I think you'll find a lot more interesting. This next example is going to excite about half the people on this webcast. In about 10 seconds, you'll get super excited. And what this is it's a business program targeting a certain type of business owner. Are you ready for it? Here it is. It's women business owners. The purpose of this program is to help women to own a business, and the eligibility is you must be a female entrepreneur. So the guys are sometimes thinking to themselves at this point, oh, so there's no business money for men? Is that what you're saying, Chris? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's extra money for women. There's plenty of business money for the men, but there's this one extra program for women. Really, why would the government do that? Well, it's called playing catch up. The men have had it far too good for far too long. So here's a way the women can catch up, and it's been a huge success. And also there's programs for minority entrepreneurs as well. Now, here's the key. You must be a woman entrepreneur to qualify for this program, but sometimes the men can sneak in under the fence. How do they do that? It's not through surgery or dresses, guys. Don't worry about that. But you do have to go into business with some woman, one or more women, and she or they must be your boss, which means that they own more of it than you. 51% or more owned and controlled by women. That's a good thing because the average grant paid out currently, $75,000. Now, it could be your business partner, could be your spouse. It doesn't have to be, though. But think about that for a second. Would that help you in your business? I think you'd agree it would.
Chris, obviously I know a number of my students have taken advantage of getting grants. Can you share with everyone right now what is available when it comes to grants in real estate?
So let's change our focus now. Let's focus in on real estate specifically. I want to dive into some real estate programs and go through in some detail here. Then we're going to switch over and we're going to talk about educational funding and show you how you can get free education for a loved one. After that, I got some fun announcements for you. You're going to like those. If you like free stuff, you're going to love my fun announcements. And then we're going to go through some business funding specifically. And we're going to dive into that and show you, if you're a real estate investor, how you can use business for your real estate investing or any kind of business for that matter. And so in the area of real estate, let's go back to real estate here. So let's focus on this. Energy upgrades, doors, windows, insulation, energy rated appliances. There's all kinds of rebates and grants to help you to offset these costs. I've had clients receive thousands and thousands of dollars in this area to offset those costs. A down payment assistance. This here is where you are a first-time home buyer, which means you haven't owned real estate for at least 3 years, and that means that you can qualify to get some money to down pay, offset your costs. It's not going to get you a brand new house paid for free and clear, but you'll get several $1,000s. The best one I've gotten so far is $31,000 free, non-repayable down payment assistance grants for a client. The next area here is homeowner rebates. These are, in some areas, they're trying to spur on home ownership. they'll offer an incentive called a rebate for buying a house. I've had clients do that. One of them are over $15,000 just for buying a house by way of a rebate. Block grants is federal funds paid out locally in development areas. There's HUD offers different grant programs for rehabbing, but there's also local funding. So the county, the city, even the state will offer rehab grants and housing grants for different local areas. Wherever they happen to be focusing on the needs of the area, that's where they offer funding. Let me show you some examples here of how some of these actually work. Here's an example. Clients of mine, Jerome and LaShawn, we have 3 kids, a dog, and a mortgage. We don't have any extra money, and the idea of buying rental real estate seemed a little bit far-fetched. Not fully realizing the effect it would have on our lives, we attended Chris Johnson's free money seminar, and within 90 days, using Chris's system, we received $58,326.77 to purchase 3 rental properties. Using Chris's system has changed our lives, and that has helped us to move closer to making our dreams come true. Thanks, says Jerome and LaShawn. Now, this nice couple here, again, they were not planning on doing real estate deals, but now they're building true wealth. When you acquire income-producing, cash flow-producing rental properties, and you can have the government help you to acquire those properties, you are building wealth for your future. Awesome story right there. Great people. Here's another example. This here is Art. $128,000 for real estate. Art actually says, with your assistance and encouragement and using the materials in your course, we were awarded 3 grants. One for each unit, which was $50,000 for one, $40,000 for the other, and $38,000 for the third one. This is funding that he used for some major upgrades on each of these units, totaling $128,000. Obviously, a big deal for Art to get that kind of money. This is the kind of thing that I do. This is the kind of thing that you can do using these techniques. So hopefully you're seeing some opportunity here. This is really a neat area. Historical programs, commercial funding, there's all kinds of funding. When I say historical, what I mean is historical buildings, historical homes qualify for special funding, as does commercial real estate as well. So let's switch over now and look at education. Education is a neat area because in the area of education, there's all kinds of funding. It's a huge spectrum, just a big area that there's money out there for. Everything from preschool to private school. We've actually put kids through private school to further your education. You're going to go back to school and get your degree. Academic and athletic scholarships. We've had a lot of success in those areas as well. In business, we've had kids go through med school and law school, engineering, computer science. There's all kinds of areas. Completely free education. That's what I focus in on. How to get all the scholarships and grants so you don't have to pay. Foreign studies and much more. There's money to study overseas in a foreign country. For example, you go to Oxford over in the UK, or you could go and study foreign languages. I had one client receive $65,000 to go to Germany, all expenses paid, just to learn German. What'd you do when you got back, I asked. She said, I did it again, why not? Went to France on the second trip, $130,000 total, all expenses paid to learn 2 languages over 2 years. Amazing stuff. There's so many different sources. The foundational grants are huge. Big business, you can start Googling Coca-Cola scholarship, Pepsi scholarship, Nike scholarship, Home Depot scholarship. You get the idea. There's thousands of companies out there. The state government, federally, there's all kinds of funding. With education, it is quantity over quality. You ought to be applying for 2 or 3 dozen different grants and scholarships. The more you apply for, the more you're going to get. Here's a couple of examples of this. Here is Eileen Schwartz and her son. And Eileen says, Dear Chris, thank you so much. Using your program, we received a $25,000 grant directly from the college. So that's non-government money there, $25,000 from the college directly, $5,800 in this case from the federal government, and $4,500 in federal government 0% loans. So the government gave half in a grant and half in 0% loans, covering the total bill for tuition, room, and board. Obviously, different sources of funding here, private sector, government, grants and loans. I'm showing you this example because it's a good example of applying to different areas. This next example has got no government money involved, but it's through the foundations and the university directly. So the first part of it was $80,000 from the foundation fellowship. Includes a free trip there, it's kind of nice, and a full university scholarship for $138,000. I'd like to thank you and your staff for the excellent job in helping my wife and me identify what resources are available, says Glenn Gloucester. Now, Glenn, very nice gentleman, had a chance to meet with him, help him out, speak to him quite a bit, and just a good guy, good family. And this just shows you what can happen if you follow through on the information. So hopefully you're enjoying this. Hopefully you're enjoying what I'm talking about here. I've got a lot more ground to cover here in a few minutes. We're going to do a little sideways detour here first for a second, because people often say, Chris, this is all fantastic information. You know, you mentioned clients and helping people. What do you do to help them? Let me talk about that for about 2 minutes. Then we'll get back on track with the business funding here. The first thing I want to talk about is something called the Grant Locator. Now, what is that? Well, what it is it's my continuing education program. This is where I provide clients ongoing, up-to-date, new grant information and advice, tips, pointers, helps in business, real estate, education, form filling out applications, etc. What it is, it's a newsletter and audio CD combination. These come to my clients every month. They're full of exciting grant tips. I teach you pointers and tips on how to maximize your funding and your success, how to find the right government sources of funding, basically all kinds of areas, including actual client success interviews. I interview clients who've received funding, and they, in their words, tell you what to do. Very helpful stuff in there. Because this program is a monthly subscription, it does cost money, $79 plus tax and shipping per month. But I tell you what, before we're done here in this webcast, there's a way that you can get some of these for free. So pay attention. In a few minutes, I'll talk about how to get some grant locators for free. So that's one thing I do. I also teach a live 2-day training class called Free Money University. I've taught so far 110 of these classes and counting. These are hands-on. They're taught by me in person over 2 interactive days. When I say interactive, I mean interactive. We actually do your grant applications, business plans, everything right there in the class. I teach these in major cities all around the country. So if you're in a small town somewhere, find the nearest biggest city to you. Now, these are just a few of the cities on the screen here, but I teach East Coast, West Coast, North, South, major hubs. And if you can make it into a major class here, love to have you there. We're always sold out. Our last class literally was standing room only. People could not get in the doors. We're having people standing at the back because they couldn't get in. The word gets around. People love these classes because they're so results producing. The amount of money people receive after attending this class is huge. Now, these cost money as well. These do cost $2,000 to attend per person, but before I'm done, I'll tell you how you can get a couple of scholarships to attend Free Money University for no cost. Now, the third thing I do is I also teach a very high-level service. Not teach, but I do. I offer a high-level service. Now, this one here has got my most results-producing success rates because it's where I offer personal one-on-one mentoring and help. How this works is I individually work with people. We do it by email because I work all across the country and I'm flying around constantly and around the world. So if you wait for me to get back to my office to phone you, we'll go crazy playing voicemail tag. But I'm going to be emailing you links and downloads. So email works great. And how this works is you ask me you tell me what kind of grant you want to get, and I go out and I find it. I help you with your business plan. I don't write it from scratch. I can do that for you for a little bit of an extra fee, but I give you all kinds of feedback and comments on the one that you've got, detailed comments and feedback. I'll help you with your application form. I'll review those in detail with you before you submit them. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I help you every step of the way. 1 year of unlimited one-on-one help with you works out to be $10,000. Now, this here is my most results-producing service. People love it. I'm told I'm way too cheap. I probably am, so I'll be raising that price pretty soon. But this is a very, very high-level service. If you're ever interested in finding out more about this, simply contact me, and we can help you out with that. Now, let's switch over here and talk about business funding, because in the area of business funding, there's all kinds of programs. There's grants, there's loans, there's subsidies. The purpose of these programs is to help people to own a business for job creation and economic stimulation. The target or eligibility is small, medium, large businesses, corporations, individuals, and entrepreneurs. So I know that you're an individual. I know that you're probably an entrepreneur as well. You're most likely a small business. The medium and large companies, those are bigger ventures, but most people I deal with are small business owners. Business grants range on the low end, a few $1,000s, upwards of millions of dollars. Now, most of my clients are in the $10,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 range, some upwards of $500,000. We've done a few of those certainly, but ultimately, if you are a client of mine, we'll help you be successful in applying for and receiving some funding for your business. And it covers all kinds of things. For example, it helps you in small business development and growth. It helps you by way of all kinds of funding, grants, loans, subsidies, like I mentioned earlier, equipment and supplies, A brand new business startup or expansion of what you got helps in advertising costs, employee wages, wage subsidies, training costs, and much, much more. Let me take a look here and show you exactly where to go to start this process. Now, there is 6 different federal agencies, one of whom is the Small Business Administration, the SBA. SBA.gov is their website. What you want to do to find all 6 is go to businessusa.gov, and that will give you the direct links to find various programs from all 6 federal agencies. The SBA itself offers a variety of programs. There's rural programs, there's urban programs. Your state government has many programs. So your state and city governments and county governments offer incentives for business owners as well. The 2-letter code for your state, for example, CA for California, NY for New York, FL for Florida. Type that in .gov. That'll take you to your state government website. Follow the links. The business, education, and residence of links will lead you to the business, education, and real estate programs. Now we're talking business here, so if you click on business, it'll lead you to all the business resources, including the funding available in your state. The same idea works at the city level as well. But it could be any kind of business. You could be an importer, an exporter. You could be having a home-based business. You could be a real estate investor, looking for some startup capital, equipment acquisition, construction funding, real estate. You could be a contractor. You name it, a mom and pop shop, there's money for all kinds of different areas. If you're a veteran, understand there's money for our veterans. A big shout out to our veterans here. We got a lot of veterans on the call here. There's self-employment training and entrepreneurship training through the IVMF program. If you're disabled, if you're a family member, if you are a woman, active duty, or a veteran, through the VWISE program, the Operation Endure and Grow, Boost to Business. There's many more programs. Here's just a few of them. And it's not just for business, education funding, huge areas for veterans. There's money for home ownership as well for veterans. So a big shout out. I've got some close friends of mine who are vets. I really appreciate, as does everyone, the sacrifices that people make. It's really taxing on families to have big deployments, long deployments, or the military is not the strongest payer, of course, compared to corporate America, but certainly a big shout out, and I salute you for all your service and hard work there. But we have a lot of successful clients who are vets taking advantage of these programs as well. Regular type funding. Here's Jeanette. Hi, Chris. I want to say thank you so much for your program. I received a total of $36,000 for starting my new business. Without you, I don't think I'd be able to do it. So I want to say thank you again. And anyone that's saying this, do it. That's it. Do it, says Jeanette. Jeanette started a real estate investing business through a self-employment grant program that paid her $36,000 in seed capital to get that business going. Very happy indeed. That is Jeanette right there. The bottom line is this. Over 1 million people across the United States receive funding for business every single year. That's a huge number. You think about that. 1 million people every year. Now, if you add to that, it is actually a bigger number. When you add on the real estate and the education funding, it's over 20 million people a year. Think about this for a second. The government doesn't advertise these programs. People are taking advantage of these programs. Other people, if you are not a regular applier and user of government grants, you're missing the opportunity. Now, think about who's paying for these programs. The answer is you are, I am, we all are. We all pay our taxes, and other people are using the allocated funding for grants, and etc., that comes from our tax dollars. And so you are funding other people's dreams. Why not reverse that around and you take advantage of other people's tax dollars through you getting grants and subsidies for your dreams and your goals? And so that's the whole idea right there. I've been doing this lecture for years and years. My client list keeps on growing. We are having such a wonderful, fun time helping people. The millions of dollars that we've raised for our clients over the years is really a fun process overall. But I'm at the point in my life now where I've done various things, real estate projects and different types of ventures, etc., where I've realized only after I've done those projects, I did them the hard way. I'm not sure what you're thinking here, but I'm all about now making my life easy. So before I start off in something new, I always ask the question, what's the simplest and easiest way to make this happen for me? And so I'm thinking that's probably what you're thinking about government grants. What's the simplest and easiest way to make this happen for you? Well, you'll be happy to know I'm all about making your life easy. Here's what I've done for you. I have spent to date over $650,000 of my own money on research staff and sifting and searching and scouring. We're talking countless hours, going through all federal programs, state programs, all the way down to find all the programs that are out there in the area of real estate, business, and education that are active and current that you can use. And I've put all this information together for you at my expense. So let's talk about making your life easy here. Let me show you what I've got here for you. And this includes, by the way, the person who's in charge of each program, their phone number, and the email address that you can email them questions and get help from them, as well as the links, the web links to download actual real application forms you can use. This took me years and years of work to produce. Let me show you what I got here for you. You're going to love this. The first program is my free money, my government grant program for real estate investors. This program manual here is chock full of literally hundreds and hundreds of programs for real estate investors. It includes the name of the person who's in charge of each program inside the government, their phone number, their email address, and the link to download the application forms. Hundreds of programs. Now let me flip this over on the back side so you can read what's on here. Inside, I basically teach you how to get free money to buy real estate, to pay for down payments, to pay for closing costs, to pay for rehabs and repairs, and developing property. The Dollar Home program is, yes, you guessed it, dollar homes, $1. Now these are fixer-uppers, but there's grants available as well. I had one client receive 12 houses, paid $12, went from zero to multimillionaire in 2 years. There's first-timer programs. There's what are called good neighbor programs. These are police officers, teachers, firefighters, ambulance drivers. These folks, if you live in the house for 3 years, you get a house for half price off market value. They are offered through Housing and Urban Development. Several of my clients have got these. Awesome stuff. There's for-profits, there's non-profits, there's special needs, there's multifamily state programs, and much, much more, including the audio CD program. The audio program walks you through the manual, explains to you in great detail how these work. If you've enjoyed listening to me for the last 45 minutes, you're going to love listening to me for several hours on this CD here, because I go through in great detail explaining to you how it works. Now, that's my free money for real estate course program manual. For those of you who know anybody who's going to be going off to college or university, is currently enrolled in college or university, or has already gone and has student loan debts hanging over your head, get your hands on my free money for education course program manual, because in here I teach you how not to pay for it. Basically, even if you've got student loan debts, I teach you the 4 ways to wipe out student loan debts. And I've done that a lot with my clients over the years, which is pretty interesting. I teach you how to get federal funding, state funding, even private sector funding, using all these different techniques. From the colleges, the private sector, the foundations, and more. The audio CD, chock full of helpful tips and advice. I'll walk you through the manual there. Again, through and through, all the contact information, thousands of programs for education. Now for business, again, phone numbers, emails, download links. It's all here for you, specifically business funding from the government. We talk about all 6 federal agencies, the One-Stop Capital Shop, the SBA programs, many other areas at the federal level, state programs, and more. The audio CD, I teach about business plans, the importance of having those, and how to actually go through the process. This is my grant funding system. All 3 manuals, all 3 CDs. Now, these have real programs that are current, that are active, that you can use with all the contact information through and through, and quick, easy access to either the online application or the downloadable application for you as well. But what people need is that extra hand-holding. So I've put together a very comprehensive, make this so easy for you, step by step, what to do first, what to do second, what to do after that. The do's, the don'ts, the how to apply for step-by-step guide. I walk you through the grant application process, how loans and subsidies work, additional funding sources not found in the other 3 manuals, the simple steps and guides to follow, all kinds of sample templates, the terminology, how to fill in the forms, how to not things to avoid, and much, much more. It's all in there for you, the manual and CD there. It's a great, great course. My grant funding system is the entire set of these, all 4 manuals, all 4 CDs. Now, I told you what this cost me to produce, over $650,000 of my money. What I haven't told you yet is what your share of this is going to be. Your share of this, there's going to be a cost here. I'll have to tell you what that is. But let me tell you what I retail is for first. The retail value of my course, $4,000. Now, think about this for a second. If you're just average and you get a typical grant, my clients get $19,000 as the average amount on a $4,000 investment. That's an incredible return on that investment, of course. But I am going to do something so ridiculous, so unbelievably, I'm probably going to regret this, that I literally will give you my course. Pay attention here in a few minutes, and I'm going to show you how you get my course for free. It's going to knock your socks off. And the reason I'm doing this is I am on a mission to help as many people as I can get a free education, get into home ownership, get into business. And it's all about reputation for me and the feel-good experience that I have by doing this. I am very successful financially right now, so I'm all about helping you. And so let's talk about this. But before we go through here, let me just mention again, give me a shout out to other people in other countries. If you're watching and you're not from the US, just know that we've got programs from, for example, Canada, England, South Africa, Australia. We've got programs for you too, because we teach this stuff internationally, all specific local programs in your countries. Now, let me go through here and show you the kind of feedback we get on this system. Here's a client of mine. His name is Tom. Tom says, "Dear Chris, thanks to your program, I was able to get $100,000 in less than 7 days. $100,000 doesn't come easily, but with the sound direction that your program provided, it wasn't that difficult. Thank you, Chris." You know what? Think about this for a second. $100,000 in 7 days? What if it takes you 30 days? What if it takes you 3 months to get $50,000? Would you be okay with that? Well, here's Abby. It took her 3 months, and she got $245,000. I looked into the many resources that Chris Johnson advised and got $245,000 to purchase the property for my business. With the resources Chris applied, I now have my empire. Thank you for supporting little people achieve big dreams, says Abby Brennan. You know what? That's fantastic. But the bottom line is this. Every few days, it seems nowadays, I get an email or a fax or a letter from people, average everyday people like you, getting into home ownership, starting a business, getting their kid off to college, whatever it might be. Some are for $100,000, some are for $50,000, some are for $5,000, some are for $50,000, $20,000, you name it. These are clients of mine. These are not all my clients. I'm showing you a small sampling of a few of my clients. If I showed you all of my clients I have over the years at this speed, it would take me about an hour to show you all of them. I'm only showing you a few here to give you a quick sampling. I want you to be like these people and be receiving tens of thousands of dollars in free money. And think about your needs. Whatever the situation is you want money for, there's money out there for you. Remember, over 20 million people across the U.S. get government money every year, either for business, for the real estate deals, for college, university, or for free help and training for a better job. And this is what I can help you do. Let's talk about my free money system. My free money for real estate, my free money for education, my free money for business, and my how to apply program manual. This is my entire grant funding system. Now, what I have told you is what this retails for, which is an incredible offer, $4,000. I paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in research hours and team in salaries to do this. But to get this for $4,000 is a great deal for sure, but that's not what you're going to pay. There's actually a way that you can get this for free. In addition to that, I'm going to throw in these 5 incredible, huge bonuses. Let's go through these bonuses right now, one by one, and talk about them. The first one is my free money university. I talked about this earlier. It's my live 2-day training taught by myself. Now, these classes are amazing. The results producing. I charge $2,000 normally. Tell you what, when you become a client of mine, and I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second, and get my free money grant program in your hand, I am going to give you free tickets to attend any free money university that you want to attend and all future ones, which means you can reattend for no cost as long as you want. Not just for you, but for you and up to 3 guests. That's you plus 3 equals 4 times 2,000. That's $8,000 in total value for free money university. That's bonus number 1. Let's look at bonus number 2. Bonus number 2 is my 7-week online training. This is my quick start, get started now, in bite-sized 1-hour live webinar chunks. I do one 1-hour live webinar a week. These start soon. And what happens is I go through and walk you through in a detailed and comprehensive way how to zero in and find the right program for you. Now, if you miss 1 or 2, that's okay. I record them. I recommend you catch the live ones and go back and watch the replays. Now, these are going to be in a password-protected area that you log in, and you can watch them over and over again if you want to. If you miss 1 or 2, that's okay, because they're always there for you. So what it is an implementation program. I don't just want to give you my course and let you figure it out and hope that you do. I want to make sure you are successful. This 7-week course is carefully designed to be a step-by-step comprehensive results-producing hand-holding as I walk you through the entire process from beginning till end. Over the 7 weeks, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you several dozen easy-to-apply for sources of funding. I'm going to walk you through the entire application process from beginning until end. Show you many different ways to get funding for your business, whether it's new or it's an existing one. It doesn't matter. I'll show you dozens of strategies to get your post-secondary education paid for, including 4 ways to discharge those student loan debts, 8 ways to use government funding for real estate investors and homeowners, and I'll show you examples of each of these and walk you through different case studies of my successful clients who've done any one of those things. Now, we're also going to explore both online and offline resources of funding, teach you how to write a winning business plan that'll get you the funding that you need every time. We'll cover the 10 mistakes that most people make, except for my students, and the 12 must-know rules that you need to know to be successful every time you apply, how to triple or quadruple your business cash flow using a little-known government secret, and learn the right words and terminology to use so you communicate effectively and properly with the funding agencies to get approved quickly. And there's much, much more here. Now, this 7-week online quick start training, here's how it works. This is valuable. The 7 online classes, which are recorded, by the way, are worth $2,000. I provide you a detailed notebook, each class, worth $500, which helps you to retain, learn, take notes, and implement information much easier and faster. The Q&A time is free. You can ask me questions live. I'll answer them. It's included but priceless. And I also record them so they're actually in your own password-protected area. And you can review them over and over again. If you miss one, that's okay because they're always there for you. Total value of these, $3,000. But when you become a client of mine and you get my free money grant funding system, this is a free added bonus. You don't pay for it. That's the second bonus. What's the third bonus? Well, the third bonus is this. It's the grant locator. Remember that? This is a monthly audio CD and newsletter. Now, this normally costs $79 plus tax plus shipping each month. When you become my client, I give you the first 2 months for free. Free is a great price. I think you'd agree with that. Let me explain what free means. Free means I pay the $79. I cover the taxes. As long as you will cover the small little shipping cost to get it from my office to your front door. So what's it cost in shipping, you ask? Great question. $78. I'm kidding. That's a joke. It's a bad joke. I apologize. Actually, it's a teeny tiny little amount. It's a small little $6 shipping and handling cost. And it's because I'm charging you shipping and handling on those two, I'll give you a third one for free with no shipping cost. And the reason I can do that is because this third one will actually get promoted to the first one. It's called the Grant Maximizer. I'll send this one with your course. When you get my grant funding free money system, I'm going to include your first grant locator. It's called the Grant Maximizer. It maximizes your success rate. It maximizes how much money you get approved for. This one, there's no shipping and handling cost because it comes with my full course, which there is no shipping cost, by the way. And so all you pay is $6 shipping and handling on the second and third one. What happens after that? Are you locked in? No. You can cancel after the free ones if you want to. You can email me, you can phone me, you can cancel. I'll still love you. If you cancel, that's okay. But if you keep on going past these 3 free issues into your 4th issue, I'm not going to charge you $79 per month. I'm going to give you a 50% all-inclusive discount. What that means is I'm going to discount that $79 plus tax plus shipping down to a full all-inclusive $39 flat, includes shipping, include taxes, includes everything, flat $39. And I'll throw in a booklet of actual application forms you can actually use. And so this here is a grant locator offer. The first one, no shipping costs. The next two, $6. From month number 4 onward is $39. We bill the $6, by the way, in the first day of the following month. So the first of the month. So January 1st, February 1st, March 1st, you get the idea. The CD comes about a week later in the mail. And how it works is once you're into the $39 level, once you've advanced past the 3 free ones, you instantly unlock back issue access to every issue historically. Well over $6,000 in back issues and counting. You can access all the newsletters, all the audio CDs, all online with your password protected area. It's a huge value that you get, and you get the first 3 for free. And all it is $0 on the first one, $6 on the second and third one, and $39 a month thereafter. But you can cancel it at any time you want, no questions asked. You'll see this small $6 charge, by the way, from the grant locator. So if you see that in your credit card, don't panic and call Visa. It's just me. You can email us and cancel if you want to. So that's bonus number 3. Let's advance now to bonus number 4. Bonus number 4 is limited, however. It's a big one. It's probably the biggest bonus I've got. It's for the first 20 people only. That's why I'm limiting it. What it is, I talked earlier about my highest and most successful producing service I've got, which is my personal individual consulting and mentoring. This is the bonus. This is the huge bonus, which is unlimited, ongoing one-on-one support by me, where I will help you research the funding programs that are right for you. I'll review your business plans. I'll help you with your application forms. I'll help you to overcome any challenges or obstacles. Remember, the cost of this is $10,000. And having said that, when you become a client of mine, you get my system here. I'm going to include this as a free bonus for you. So you don't pay, you don't ever pay. This is a free bonus. So as you can see, these add-on bonuses are really adding up. We've got 4 of the 5 covered here. Let's talk about the 5th one in a minute, but first let's recap what we've got so far. We've got all 4 manuals, all 4 audio CDs. Remember, this is normally a $4,000 investment retail. You're going to get a ridiculous offer here in a second. But the 7-week live webinars, these here, which are recorded for you, live each week 1 hour, were $3,000. Free My University for you and up to 3 guests, $2,000 a piece. That's $8,000 in total value there. The personal one-on-one mentoring worth $10,000, plus the 3 grant locators. All these free bonuses add up to over $20,000. $8,000 for the Free My University, $10,000 for the one-on-one mentoring, $3,000 for the webinars. That's over $20,000 in total value. So here's how you access this incredible offer. As you can probably well imagine, I've got staffing, I've got shipping, I've got production, I've got research, I've got overhead, I've got travel. My break-even point just to put one program course into one of my clients' hands works out to be $1,497. That's my break-even point. Here's what I want you to do. Cover that cost here today on this webcast. We're going to call it a deposit. Deposit means I give it back. What that means is you pay a small deposit to cover my cost so I can provide you these services. And once you do that, I want to trade you my course for your success story. Trade you my course for your success story. You're going to put a small upfront deposit to show you're serious. I don't want you to email me and say, Chris, just send me the course today. I'll send you my success story later. If I did that, I'd mail out 1,000 courses. I wouldn't hear from 1,000 people. 999, I'd never hear from them. So it doesn't work that way. Put a small bit of skin in the game here. And we're going to actually send you my course. It's going to come to you in a few days. And I'm going to make an incredible offer here even better, because if you do this right now and take action here, be one of the first 20 people to lock in your personal one-on-one mentoring, I'm going to pay the first 500 of your $497, further reducing down your guaranteed one-time refundable deposit to only $997. Guaranteed refundable deposit that you get back. Let me explain this now through our 5th bonus. Bonus number 5 works like this. It's my amazing double guarantee. Guarantee number 1 is your 100% satisfaction guarantee, which means if you're not completely satisfied with the program, within 30 days, simply contact my office and ask for your money back, and I'll refund the entire program, no questions asked. That's guarantee number 1. Guarantee number 2 is this one we just talked about here, which is let me trade you my course for your success story. I want to use your success story in my advertising. I want a smiling photo of you, proof of your grant within 1 year. This is not for a month, not for 6 months. It's a full entire year. Why do I give you a full year and not the rest of your life? I don't want you to go and procrastinate on this for the next 5 or 10 years. Get started today. Get a grant within the next week or 2 or month or 2. It's going to change your life. It's going to give you a huge boost. Send me your success story, and that very day I get your success story emailed or faxed over or mailed over. That very day I refund your entire deposit, that $997 deposit. I refund that entire thing, guaranteed, giving you the entire course, my entire system, and all those bonuses absolutely free. And that is exciting. It's an amazing double guarantee. So to take advantage of this, What you want to do is go to this website to order right now. Everything is detailed on the website. Go to allensoffer.com/grant. That's allensoffer.com/grant. Go to the website to order right now. It's showing on the screen there. Now, if you are somebody that needs to use a couple of different credit cards, or you're somebody who needs to wait a week to make sure the money can go through a few days from now because it's not available today, what you want to do in that case only is call my toll-free order line. But for most people, go to allensoffer.com/grant right now to place your secure order and get everything that you want. Now, the first 20 people, as long as those 20 spots are available, it'll be showing there on the website. Once they're gone, it'll show you that they're gone. Now, just to recap, it's all 4 manuals, all 4 audio CDs, 3 issues of the grant locator. Remember, $0 for the first one, $6 shipping on each of the second and third one, $39 per month thereafter, but you can cancel whenever you want to. It includes the sample grant application forms and access to over $6,000 worth of back issues of all historical issues of the grant locator through your secure password protected area. You get 7 weeks of live webinars worth over $3,000. You get free money university for you and up to 3 guests, unlimited readmission and reattendance as often as you want to. That's a total of $8,000 in value right there. And my personal one-on-one mentoring for the first 20 people only, and for the first 20 people, an additional further discount down to just $997. Guaranteed refunded. That's a refundable deposit you pay to lock you in, get my course rush shipped to you, and once you get that testimonial, that success story that you can send to me, I refund that to you 100%, no questions asked. So go to the website right now. It's showing on the bottom of the screen there. It's showing on the bottom of the screen, or call a toll-free number if you need to, but you want to order and get yourself locked in.
That's amazing. And that part about where they get their money back, I'm floored. There's no reason for somebody to miss out on this. Just jump all over it. You know, you just go to the website, allensoffer.com/grant, G-R-A-N-T, and like Chris said, Allens, A-L-A-N-S is plural, offer.com/grant, or go to 800-584-3346. Friendly operator standing by to help you out. And the reason I repeated that was because they need to jump in there, be one of the first. What a phenomenal deal. I mean, they get the live class, they get one-on-one help with you, 3 months of your monthly program there, your newsletter, and they got the webinars. You got training webinars. What a great way for folks to learn and watch the webinars. I'll tell you, $997, you just do what he says, you get a grant, and you come back and get your money back. Wow. I loved it, Chris. Thank you very, very, very much for sharing this with my folks.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, I know from my when you speak at my live events, what you just said is totally true, that people run to the back table and get started with your program. They love what you do, and things go fast, very, very fast. And so don't miss out, folks. There's no reason to miss out. All you have to do is go out there to allensoffer.com/grant and jump all over this. So, Chris, once again, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this. A phenomenal opportunity for my students, and I know they're going to love it. And I know you enjoy helping people, and you'll be there to help them if they got any questions. So thank you again.
Happy to be here and share this great information with people. So here's the offer again, just to be clear that you understand everything that you're getting. It's all on the website as well. It's free money for real estate, education, business, how to apply manual, all 4 manuals, all 4 audio CDs, plus the 3 free issues of the grant locator, $0 shipping on the first one, $6 shipping on the second and third one, and just a flat $39 thereafter. You get the application forms included with that. You can cancel that program at any time you want to, but you get the 7 weeks of live webinars worth $3,000, free money university for yourself and up to 3 guests. That's $2,000 for you times 4, because there's 4 of you. That's $8,000 in value right there. And the personal one-on-one help and mentoring worth $10,000 for you to consult with me, where I help you and access all kinds of information individually, one-on-one, guaranteed. And this is for the first 20 people only, and the additional discount down to only $997. Take advantage of this right now. Go to the website showing on the screen right now. Go to allensoffer.com/grant. That's allensoffer.com/grant. You can also call the toll-free number if you need to. Like I said, split up into a couple of payment methods, or if you want to delay your payment for any reason whatsoever, So this is Chris Johnson, the grant funding expert. It's been a pleasure to share this information with you. I can't wait to help you access and get free money for your needs. Go to the website, get on there now, be one of the first 20 people. I look forward to working with you soon. Oh, and by the way, I look forward to getting your success story too, so I can refund you and send you your complete 100% guaranteed refund that you get with your course.
I loved it, Chris. Thank you very, very, very much for sharing this with my folks.
Thanks very much, and have yourself a great rest of your day.
Everyone, to your wealth.
Bye for now.